Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Just Talking About Films podcast. My name is Ian Sargentson.
And my name's Luke Taylor, and it is great to be with you to just hang out and talk about films and what we've seen, what we're looking forward to, and what we think about films that we have loved over the years. And we've got a new sort of feature this week where we're going to talk about two different opinions on some films, and then at the end we'll set up a Twitter poll and see who agrees with who. Do we say who agrees with who, or who made the best argument?
I think people have got to go with what they think, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
It's be what they think rather than who argued it best, because I want their opinion.
Yeah. Unless we can convince them otherwise.
Yeah, unless they disagree with me, then their opinion isn't valid. But no, but we want to see what other people think, because we want to know what people's opinions are on the topics that we talk about. So,
yeah, wonderful. Well, let's start with what we've watched this week. We've both had fairly busy weeks. We haven't watched many, have we?
No, not this week. I've just got back into it, but it's been still a bit busy. But I watched two films this week. One new one that I hadn't seen before, and one that I had seen before.
Yeah. So, do you want to get us started? What? Let's start with the one you have seen before.
The one I have seen before. So, the one I have seen before was Robocop 2.
Oh, right.
So, Robocop, the original, is one of my favourite films of all time. It's in my top 10. Absolutely love it. And I haven't seen Robocop 2 for a lot of years. I remember enjoying it as a kid, because I just loved everything about Robocop before I should have been watching it. But, yeah, loved it. And I thought, I haven't seen this for years. I'll watch it again. And I know I'd heard things over the years about how poor it was. And I was like, oh... So it played in my mind a bit, and I watched it, and yeah, it wasn't great, and I was disappointed. I just don't know what they were thinking. It must have just been a financial thing, because when you compare it to the original, it's just there's not a lot to it. There's not a lot of plot. It's lazy. The action's all been done before. The character isn't even really as endearing as he was. So, yeah, I didn't really enjoy it.
Interesting. I have never seen a Robocop film, apart from the reboot. Sorry?
Any of them?
No. I'll tell you why. We'll get into this a little bit. That my parents used to watch films before us to tell us whether they'd be okay to watch.
Yeah.
So they used to watch them on a Friday night, and if we were allowed, we were to watch them on a Saturday morning. We'd get up early and watch them.
Okay.
And I remember when Robocop came out, my mum and dad watched it on the Friday night, and they said no, we weren't allowed to. But I remember that night, because we were quite excited about it. Sometimes we'd sort of sneak downstairs, and we'd not watch. We could hear them, talking, and we could hear the film. Especially it was a film we were looking forward to. I remember with Robocop, hearing my dad a few times go, "Ugh, oh, that's gross," that kind of like it was really gross.
Yeah, there are, yeah.
And that put something in me. I was too scared to watch it after that.
Really? I was going to say, you're not a child now, Luke. They don't still do that, do they?
I got older, and that, you just never get round to some things.
Yeah.
And it was always in the back of my head, it must be really gross if it made my dad go, ugh.
If there are a couple of bits, there's two bits in particular that stick in my mind, there are probably two bits that stick in most people's mind, that are, but I just think it's just very good. It's very clever. It's a futuristic, although not so futuristic now, but futuristic kind of world. And I think you'd like it, because I think one of the things that I particularly like about the original is that it's a bit like a Western. Even the way he moves, the way he shoots, the shooting scenes are very Western in nature, very clear, good guys versus bad guys. See the Western bits playing to it. So I think you would like it. I would think it's something that you should watch. But I say I watched the second one, and it wasn't a patch, and there's a lot of examples of films like that where it isn't, but I just didn't know if it was one of them ones where people, and maybe we'll talk about it in a bit when we talk about our Thunderdome topic, but it's like, oh, well, when something comes out and it's originally like, wow, this is new, and then when I try and do it again, that initial wow factor has gone because you've seen it. But it just wasn't as good on any level. It's just like they hadn't thought about it. Or thought about the things that made the original good. So I was a bit disappointed with that, in a similar way I was disappointed when I watched Commando a few weeks back that it just wasn't the same. And kind of part of me wishes I hadn't watched it and I could have just sat with the memories. But yeah, I still love Robocop 1 now, probably more than I did when I was a kid. So
you probably appreciate it in a different way now. It's one I should try. It's just one of those blind spots, and it's never come up as a sort of like thing, oh, we've never seen that. I better watch it.
Yeah, I have a few of those. I can't think of any right now, but you know what people talk about all the time, and I just haven't got round to because for one reason or other, I don't, just for whatever is in my head, I just don't, it doesn't appeal to me, but I'll think of some examples at some point and tell you. But yeah, so that was the one I had seen. The one that I hadn't seen, I think you watched this recently as well, was Boss Level on Amazon Prime with Frank Grillo. And I just found it. It's one of them things that when I read it, I thought the synopsis, I was like, this is either going to be really good or it's going to be horrendous. and I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was something different. It didn't take itself too seriously. So it's got Frank Grillo and Mel Gibson and a few other people that you may recognise, but it's like a mix between Groundhog Day, Zombieland, and Ready Player One. Do you know what I mean? It's like Groundhog Day, it's a time loop thing. Zombieland in a way that it's a narrated, fun look at something, and then Ready Player One because of the technology, computer vibe thing. And there's lots of good references in there, pop culture references to gaming, references to Indiana Jones, and all kinds of things. And it's also like got a bit of a mix of Tarantino in there. Maybe a bit of Kill Bill stuff, but I really thought it was fun. It just kept me entertained. It was different.
I liked it a lot. It was one of the. I started watching it by myself, and I got 5 minutes in, and I stopped. And I thought, Amelia's going to really enjoy this.
Yeah.
And so I had to and waited and we watched it together. But it was so much fun. It was really surprising. I thought it was going to be a bit. And got to say, props to Mel Gibson. He plays a good bad guy in it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. But I thought it was good. So I think. It was a bit sweary, but other than that, the violence is the violence that you're going to get. But yeah, I thought it was good. And it's like, see, I get what you're saying. It's like so many times, and this may be a thing, when you say, I watched 5 minutes, I thought Amelia liked this. I do that all the time. And I think, Kate will really like this. And then I feel bad because I want to keep watching. When Kate's not in and I know she's going to. So many times, and I'm thinking, most of the time I do stop. Other times I just say, you should watch this, you'll like it. I watched it. But sometimes I just know that she will really like it. And I have to, no, I can't watch anymore. But I didn't do that with this. I don't think she would be that bothered. But yeah, I know what you mean when you say that about Amelia. But yeah, it was just fun. It was just say something different. Didn't take yourself too seriously. I could watch it again at another time and not be...
I like that all the assassins that have been sent, because basically like every assassin in the city's after him.
Yeah.
And he only gets
so John Wick as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite like that. But I like that they all had such distinct personality about them, and they weren't just like faceless. They were distinct. They were fun. They all had their own quirks, and
yeah, I mean, and his nicknames for them and everything was good. I like his narration. It was quirky. It was funny. Do you know what I mean? The commentary that he was given, I just thought, it was good.
Yeah, Brill. So you'd recommend it?
Yeah, I would recommend it if you're looking for something light and different and fun to watch. It doesn't take itself too seriously. So it is a bit sweary. It is a bit...
It's quite violent.
Yeah, it is quite violent. So if that's not your bag, not in a way what you would be like, when you get that violence where it's real.
Yeah, it's cartoony. It's
realistic.
It's computer game violence.
Yeah, it's like computer game where you go, right, that's just part of it, where it's not like, that's grim, realistic violence. But so if you're not too bothered about that, then I would say give it a watch. I think it was good fun.
Yeah, good. I really enjoyed that as well. So that's what you've seen this week.
Yeah, I'm booked in to see James Bond on Monday, so I'll be able to comment on that finally next week.
Nice. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think about that. I'm off to see the Eternals tonight as well, so looking forward to updating that. And I really want to see Last Night in Soho, but the times at our Cineworld are terrible for it. You've either got to be there at 5, which who can do that? We're still working, Well, you got to be there. It's like 20 to 10. I don't want to go that late. So I
Come on,
don't know
City
what
Road,
I'm
get
gonna
your
say.
act together. Luke needs a 7 o'clock showing of Last Night in Soho.
7 o'clock is the ideal time to go. Why is 7 o'clock not the same? Anyway, that's just my gripe.
Churches have it right, don't they? Everything's at 7 o'clock in church.
Yeah,
7 or half 7.
7 or half 7. You know, people got time to get home from work and then get back out again. Yeah, so I'm hoping to catch that maybe over the weekend, but it's proven tricky to find. And what I saw this week is I don't know why I watched this. This is one of those films again, like Robocop with you. You saw it as a kid, and you haven't seen it since. I haven't seen this since this must have been just after it came out, I guess. And that was The Last Starfighter.
Last Starfighter, I saw that and added it to my list the other day. I loved it as a kid, but it could be, I know what you mean, it could be one of those ones that ruins the memories I have of that film.
Yeah, well, the memories I had of that film, I guess, weren't that much because I had very, very vague, and there's the odd bit here and there. You're like, I remember that. Yeah,
isn't it the one where he plays on an arcade and he does really well and completes it, and it was a test to go and fight some intergalactic war?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, what a film as a kid! I remember that. That and Flight of the Navigator were two of my favourites.
It's not as good as I remember it. It's very. I mean, you can see it's heavily influenced by Star Wars. That's never a bad thing.
No.
But it feels very 80s, even in the sense that you feel like actually the stuff I remember, like when he gets taken off into space to fight this intergalactic war, he gets a robot replacement to live his life for him.
I don't remember that bit.
Which I remember being a lot of fun, but actually it's a couple of scenes and they don't really go anywhere with it. But it's one of those things, we were talking about films that could be remade.
Yeah.
I tell you what, they could remake that one and it would be, I reckon, yeah, you could do a lot with that film.
With the effects now, yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember the story. I was thinking, so it changed the way I played arcade games. Yeah. Shinobi, but yeah, I used to love it. But I saw it, and there is a danger of that. And as you know, I've been going back rewatching a lot of my films, and there's a lot that have rewatching films from my childhood that I enjoyed, and there's a lot that have stood the test of time. There's a lot that haven't, and it does kind of ruin that memory a bit for you, and tarnish it a little bit. But
also it has that nostalgia attached to it while you're watching it as well, which was, and I thoroughly enjoyed the nostalgia kick on it. That was fun. The background characters, like he lives in a trailer park, and all the people in the trailer park are so corny, so badly done, so badly acted. It's fun.
What's that on? Is that on Prime?
Oh, what did I watch it on?
Netflix?
It was on Sky. I got it on Sky Movies.
Was it Sky? I know I saw it as I was trawling through the other day, as you do looking for something to watch, and I thought I'll add that to the list.
Yeah.
It might have been Disney. I can't remember where it was.
Oh, no, it was on Disney, I think I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I pressed the plus button, so I know that it was one of them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But I tell you what, the special effects are... It was one of the first films to go all out and use CGI. But it's the sort of CGI that it's comical. I mean, the action sequences they're actually quite funny to watch now. It's like the sort of thing that if you were to be making a pretend movie set with the early ages, that's what it would look like.
So it's first generation CGI.
Oh yeah, and it's incredible to see. But dear me, it hasn't aged well. But the film's not aged well. Had a good time, and I spent the whole time thinking, man, they should remake this. That would be amazing. That's
good. We need to put it out there, and who's the people that can get this done? Get it remade. Instead of remaking Home Alone. Yeah, you may. Come on, Netflix, sort it out.
Well, funnily enough, that leads us on to our next item. Because we're going to have with our new item, we're calling it the Thunderdome, and entering the Thunderdome this week, we have Home Alone 1 versus Home Alone 2.
Yeah, so what we do is basically in the Thunderdome, we'll put a contentious issue that we will disagree on or we'll have different opinions on, and then we'll talk about it, and then we put it to you to decide what is the right answer.
And so that's the question for today is, which We have to word this carefully. It's not which is better, because I think that's a different answer. Which do you prefer, Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2?
I mean, for me, it's the same answer, but
yes. Okay. Well, do you want to put you're taking the side of Home Alone 1? Do you want to give your case?
Yeah. Well, just look at your background, Luke. No, so for me, it was as I was saying last week, my outrage at Netflix daring to try and remake Home Alone, which did not need remaking. For me, I do like Home Alone 2. I don't mind it, but effectively I like it because it just copies the first one, but in a different location. But the first one, I remember, there's so many things that the reason I think it's better, because I've got so many memories attached to it, because it was the first time I saw it and I watched it at the cinema and I was totally wowed by it. But I just like the characters better in the first one. I like that he's in his own home, that he knows where stuff is, he knows how to defend it, he goes about his life, he goes to church, he goes to the shop, he does the thing with his neighbour, he uses his own thing. I just like it better. I just think it just makes me feel more festive, with the soundtrack. Yeah, I just prefer everything about it. I think everything that is good about the second one is taken from the first one, but the first one does it better. And I can't see anything about the second one that is better, apart from maybe Central Park. But when I was a kid watching Home Alone, I wanted to live on the street where Kevin McAllister lived, because it just looked like a great estate.
It does look nice.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, I want to live there with a little ice skating rink outside the shop, and all these massive houses and snow all of the time, when it was really filmed in a swimming pool or a gym. But anyway, I can't see past the first one. The second one is the only other one I'll really acknowledge. But I don't know. I guess I'm waiting to hear what arguments you possibly have for the second one being better, and then I will counter them. I can't find anything.
Okay. Well, he first of all, I acknowledge, I think as a film, the first one is better. The first one trod new ground. The first one was such a surprise hit, in a sense. It was. There were and did you watch that Netflix documentary about it?
Yeah.
Where they were talking about how they were working out even the camera moves on the go, that camera that falls down the thing, and it was just a camera that one of the cinematographers put together.
Yeah.
So the first one is classic. There's no doubt about that. I prefer the second one, I think, because it's like the first one, but it's got a bit of a swagger to it. It's kind of like, we know this works now, and it tries, and it goes, okay, we know this works, we know and it does copy the formula exactly, but it goes, okay, let's see how far we can push it. And so first of all, the first thing about it is I love the fact that it's in New York. Love that. As a kid, New York was this magical place to me, this place that I would only ever dream of going. And it was always, one day I'll get to New York. So seeing Kevin go to New York for me was a big, wish fulfillment thing. The idea of being lost in New York just seemed like a dream kind of thing. Even though actually it's a really scary place sometimes. But I think that as well works because he's out of his comfort zone. He doesn't know where to go. And I think the New Yorkness of it is what really, really plugged me into it to start with. But I think the hotel staff on there are just brilliant. The way I'm not a big fan of Tim Curry, but I love Tim Curry in Home Alone 2.
Yeah, but they're stupid, aren't they?
Oh, they are completely. But I love that. I love that. Even the fact that when he orders a limousine with a pizza in it, they act like they've never seen a pizza before. I mean, these guys are living in Brooklyn, surely. I mean, like, he is your pizza. That's just. Yeah. But I just love that. I think Tim Curry is brilliant in that. I think. And when it gets to the finale and the empty house, again, exactly the sort of, you see Kevin's house in the first film, and that's where you want to live. That house in the second film, obviously renovated, would be where I wanted to live. And the way that they just ramped up everything, the pain that those guys go through. I mean, obviously, they would have been dead before they entered the house. But the silliness of it, when he electrocutes one of them and you see a skeleton through, it just everything in that just tickles me so much more. And so I think that's what it was for me. Now, what might have a large sway over this may have been the fact that I saw this one at the cinema and I didn't see the first one at the cinema. That was another one that my mum and dad watched first, and we watched on the Saturday morning. But when the second one came out, we were hyped for it. I wasn't hyped. I'd never heard of the first one, but when I saw it, it was new. Didn't have a clue what it was going to be. But by the time the second one came out, I was fully hyped and fully up for it, and so it has a stronger connection for me.
I mean, not for me. If I could, I won't. I've got like 3 or 4 that I watch every year. But if I could only watch one Christmas film for the rest of my life, I think it'd be Home Alone.
Ooh, wow.
Well, that's another discussion for another time. But quotable lines, do you know what I mean? The quotable lines are all from the first one.
Yeah, and they're pretty much copied in the second one.
Yeah, but in the second one, you've got Donald Trump. In the first one, you've got polka, polka, polka.
Yeah. That is true. John Candy is a miss in the second.
And do you know what I mean? You've got John Candy and his polka band giving a list. It's just, I don't know, just everything about it. It's, even though they're both ridiculous, it's much more plausible as well. Do you know, a kid wandering around New York trying to find his auntie and uncle's house? Oh yeah, here it is. It's like, come on.
Yeah, okay. It is a bit of a stretch for that, but that's okay.
Neither of them are realistic though. But I love both of them. But the one for me, it's just the original and the best. I just can't. I can't.
What about the setup and payoff with his uncle in the shower, where he turns around and says, "You get out of here, you nosy little pervert," and he gets it on the recorder, and then he plays it back, and then feeds in one of those films on top of it. Then get down on your knees and say you love me. Come on, that's better than the pizza guy in the first film.
No, because it's just taking it and pushing the envelope a bit in it. It's just like, oh, we've done this. We'll just do it in a different scenario.
Let's do it, but let's do it better.
How is it better?
It's so much funnier. With seeing the whole hotel staff, and he goes, "I've seen you with everybody. I saw you with Cliff," and then you see the security guard with Cliff on him. Wasn't me. I just love that. I think it's brilliant.
The whole thing would have fell down if he wasn't called Cliff, though.
Yes, it would have done. It would have done. I guess that it's that kid wish fulfillment as well. He gets the biggest suite in the hotel. He's got all of the ice cream and the sweets, and I think that really appealed to me as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's. I mean, it's difficult taking this argument seriously because they're both good films. But I just prefer one. If you had to erase one and throw one in the bin, it'd be 2 for me. As much as I like it, it's just one. It's just I just really enjoy it so much. I watch it every Christmas, and I could watch it, 2 or 3 times a year and not get fed up with it.
Yeah.
I just think, and I think at the time. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it's recognised as much as it should be how good Macaulay Culkin's performance was.
Yeah.
And because he was a kid, he doesn't get the recognition I think he deserves because his career did fizzle out. But, for a kid to do that and deliver that so believably well, it's still one of the most believable performances I've ever seen. Not that I believe it could happen, but I believe he is Kevin McAllister.
Yeah, I get that. I think his performance probably surprised the people making the film.
Yeah. But it's just so good. And then, the Wet Bandits and,
Who's your favourite character in this film?
The Mask, his neighbour, that like in the second one, it's a bird lady, but I just like the neighbour with the story that Buzz has told him there to freak him out.
I will give you that. The neighbour's better than the bird lady.
Yeah, so that's why I think Home Alone 1 is better than Home Alone 2. I'm excited to watch both of them, but I don't really watch Home Alone 2 unless it's on telly, or I don't make a point of watching it.
Okay. Who's your favourite character in Home Alone?
Kevin, I think.
Is he? I love Uncle Frank. He's such a freeloader. He's such an awful. Yeah. Every time I watch it, I go, he is the worst person
He's horrible.
He moans about everything. He's getting free trips, both films, and he does nothing but moan. And there's something about him that just makes me laugh.
Yeah, and there's something about it when I watch it. You know, when Buzz has wound Kevin up, he's at his pizza and he's done this, and Kevin kicks off and the milk gets spilt and all that, tickets go in the bin. I get wound up with the mum because I'm going, Kevin's right. It's Buzz. Tell Buzz. Do you know what I mean? He should know better, and he's done all this. And there's only one cheese pizza, and Kevin's the only one he likes. I fully feel I'm siding with Kevin. Maybe he's a bit harsh in what he says, but I'm like, yeah, that's out of order. And his Uncle Frank, his brother and sisters, you what the French call les incompetents, all of that stuff. It's like, yeah, so. Yeah.
It's the same in the second one as well, when Buzz does the whole thing with, putting the lights behind his ears while he's singing and, the candles and, you get frustrated. The whole family are laughing at him. The whole family are to blame. It's not Kevin's fault.
No.
Put you on his side, though, for the rest of the film.
Oh, yeah, but I just like him. And then there's that little bit when he comes home and like, who did this? And he's like, Kevin, oh, not bad, Kevin. And when Buzz goes to his room and goes, Kevin! So I think Home Alone 1 is the original and the best.
And I think Home Alone 2, while it might not be the best, it's certainly the most fun to watch. And so what do you think? We're going to put a poll on Twitter and we're going to ask you. We'll put the poll on a day or so after this podcast goes live, so you've had a chance to watch. So you're not just voting uninformed, because you need to be informed by how Home Alone 2 is the better film.
Oh, we don't want uninformed voting.
And so let us know which one you think is the best of the two. And we'll announce. Should we announce the results like next week in the podcast?
Yeah, we'll mention it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, if you've got any other topics that you want to discuss, or if you've got an opinion you think, I think this, but not a lot of people agree with me, I want to see what Luke and Ian think and the Twitterverse, then let us know. So we talked about last week that we've got a friend, and we'll hope to get him on soon, that thinks Terminator Genesis is the greatest of the Terminator films. Was it Genesis?
Terminator Salvation, he thinks.
Salvation, is it?
Salvation, yeah.
Salvation thinks the Terminator Salvation is the greatest film of the Terminator franchise. We know he's wrong, and I think we both have different opinions on it as well. So anything you think of like that, just let us know, and we're happy to get our chat on about it, as long as we have different opinions on it.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Or we can even get you on to discuss your opinion, and we could tell you what we think about it.
That's a good question. If somebody wants to come on and chat with us, how can they do that, Ian?
So you just let us know by Twitter, via Facebook, or if they know us, they can just tell us. WhatsApp or tweet or text, call, chat to us if they're in the same room.
Yeah.
Or you can send us a letter.
Yes, a stamped, self-addressed envelope.
Yeah.
And also, if you've been on before and you'd like to come on again, it'd be great to see. We've had some great guests before, so it'd be great to have you again and find out some of your, like with Ollie, for example. It'd be great to get into that Terminator discussion properly.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned it to me when we were in the film club and he was talking about it. I know he said some words, but after, I think Terminator Salvation is the best out of the Terminator franchise, and He Is Why. All I heard after He Is Why was wibble, wibble, wibble. You know what I mean? It was like, I wasn't even paying any attention after that. But it would be good to get him on to try and listen to what he's saying.
Yes. Brilliant. What are you looking forward to watching this week, Ian?
Well, James Bond. I'm looking to watch a new Bond finally. And I don't know really what else. There's a few things. I wanted to watch The Last Starfighter. I've really been wanting to watch Forrest Gump for a while. Just because I haven't watched it for a while and it's one of my favourite films. But then there's a whole host of films that I want to rewatch from my youth that are on my list that I just haven't got round to yet. So I'll have to look on my list and see what's what. And I've got to watch Games Night before tomorrow, I think, before Sunday night.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah. I did. I got it the wrong week, so I watched it a week early.
So I've got to watch Game Night for Film Club on Sunday. So.
Oh, I hope you enjoy that. Because I know you were a little so on the first time you saw it.
Well, first time I liked it. I just didn't like it as much as you seem to.
Yeah, that's one of the. There's some films I can just watch and rewatch, and that's become one of them. It's nice to have comfort films.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's films and I think say Home Alone is one of them for me that doesn't matter if I've just seen it, I won't get bored with it. It's just good because the familiarity helps with that. I think there's not many films I find that, but comfort films like Robocop, Rocky. I could watch Rocky every week and not get fed up of it. Back to the Future, all the posters behind me really.
And that includes Robocop. Is that Robocop behind you?
Yeah, Robocop, and then Die Hard.
Oh, Die Hard.
And then Forrest Gump.
It's nearly the season to watch Die Hard.
Yeah, almost Christmas, so we'll get that.
Actually, that's
Die Hard 2 last year as well. We're not having a discussion about you telling me Die Hard 2 is better than Die Hard 1, Luke.
No, it's not. Although...
No, there's no although.
Just as it comes to enjoyment level, and this is probably the same New York thing for me, just that I really love New York. I prefer watching Die Hard 3. No, I don't prefer. I really enjoy Die Hard 3, but I think it's just the New Yorkness of it that gets me.
Is that Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yes, yeah, the one where...
Yeah, so I like that film. Don't like it as much as Die Hard 1, but I do like it as a standalone film. I think Samuel L. Jackson adds a lot to it. I think the whole race thing is not funny. It's done in a funny way, but it raises a serious point. I think the plot of the telephones and stuff, I think it's good, and the quizzes. Certainly better than 2.
2 is terrible. I rewatched 2 recently to try and reassess it and go, that maybe I'm judging it harshly, but no, 2's not great.
It was bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And what are you looking forward to, Luke? What you seen tonight? The Eternals?
Eternals tonight. Looking forward to that. And I'm hoping to do Last Night in Soho if I can find a decent time over the weekend. And then, I don't know, I had a whole bunch of stuff downloaded to watch on my Skybox, but I've gone blank on what they all are.
I've got Shooter on my Skybox.
Shooter?
Yeah, with Mark Wahlberg?
Oh, yeah, another one.
There was a series done on Netflix. It wasn't as good. It wasn't bad, like. I've got Shooter and Kindergarten Cop on my...
Kindergarten Cop? Wow.
Bit of Arnie. Again, nostalgia.
Well, I can't remember what it's called. It was The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. That's it. I'm going to try and do that. An old Western.
Yeah. That's thingy, isn't it? John Wayne.
It's a John Wayne one, yeah. And Jimmy Stewart. So I'm going to try and fit that in this week. Looking forward to that.
And then Gran Torino, I wanted to rewatch that as well.
Oh, yeah. Good film.
Just after you mentioned Unforgiven last week. I thought, a bit of Clint.
You can't go wrong with a bit of Clint.
I mean, he plays one character, but he plays that character very well.
He does. Wonderful. Well, I think that's all we've got for this week. Please send your ideas for Thunderdome topics to us. And as well, tell us which films that you're looking forward to watching this Christmas. And which are your favourite Christmas films? It'd be good to know of course, everybody's favourite films are the Home Alone ones. But beyond that.
Yeah, tell us what your favourite Christmas films are. And we'll do stuff probably in December about them. Because November is the month where I start watching the Christmas TV films, the proper cheese-tastic Hallmark films. And as we get into December, I start watching the established Christmas film. But I have a set 5 that I watch every year, and then others I will watch maybe alternate years or something.
Have you delved into the Netflix Christmas films yet?
This year, you mean?
No, I mean ever.
Yeah, I watched a few of them. Say, I watched the Hallmark stuff, and I watch a few of the Netflix ones, and they've got another couple coming this year, haven't they? A Boy Called Christmas or something.
Yeah.
But they, I watched Christmas Chronicles and Christmas Chronicles 2. They were all right. And then one about Christmas Clock, was it? It was on last year, I think. I can't remember. I'll find out before we have the Christmas discussion.
Yeah, we'll start peppering some Christmas films in over the next few weeks, maybe, as on the lead up to Christmas.
But yeah,
I usually wait until December and then don't have time to watch them all, so I might start a little earlier this year.
Yeah, Kate still won't have Die Hard as a Christmas film, but it's not even a discussion for me.
Oh, great! Die Hard and Batman Returns.
Rocky 5, I say, Rocky 4, sorry, is a Christmas film. You know what I mean? But she won't have that either, but it doesn't matter. Just because she doesn't believe it doesn't mean it's not true. Very good. Well, so let us know what you think. Get in touch in all the usual ways. Thanks for listening.
Yep, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week.